When critics talk about you, and obviously they do on a regular basis, what I've noticed is recently more and more they talk about the way how brilliant you are at marketing yourself. How you are this genius at packaging, at getting publicity, and yet rarely, it seems anymore, do they talk about the songs, the videos, the live performance, the films. It's like Madonna, the phenomena. Right. Is that something that bores you? Is that something that
yes, I think it's boring, but I think it's what it is a reflection of society, because I think the subject matter that I deal with, because it usually is about taboo subjects, people are so frightened of my ideas that they try to undermine my actual talent or any artistic value that may be in any of my work, and just say, oh, she's just doing that to shock people, or oh, look, she's changing her look again, or she really knows how to manipulate the media. But the fact is, if that's all I was good at doing, I don't think people would be paying attention to me for this long. I mean, I'm still here.
You once said you wanted to conquer the world. Do you think you have?
Well, they say yes, but I say no. No, there's more to do, more to conquer.
She had a vision of where she wanted to be from very early on.
She suddenly came to the forefront of pop at a time when it was fairly male-dominated as well. You know, there was this exhibitionist, maybe slightly immature future pop superstar who arrived on the scene when girls were going mad for Spandau Ballet and Wham, and then suddenly she arrives and all these girls seem to look up to this huge pop icon.
She's the biggest selling female artist of all time, and she's released some incredible music, some great pop songs, and they continue to survive.
From Birmingham to Bangladesh to Boston, and I'm not joking, everyone listens to Madonna's music.
Vogue is one of those Madonna songs. You know, Madonna, on some of her songs, she produces this energetic vocal, and she doesn't always do it. And I think it's the songs that have that energetic vocal that just propel that song, that makes people kind of go nuts for it. You know, and when she says, "Get up on the dance floor," and near the, you know, sort of right near the end of Vogue, I think that's when everybody does. You know, everybody obeys Madonna.
Madonna became the ultimate pop icon by being very good at everything, but not brilliant at anything. She's not a great dancer, she's not a great singer, but the whole package is perfect. And she constantly reinvented herself so that she was always one step ahead of everyone else.
You seem to reinvent yourself every few years. Is that a conscious thing, or do you just get tired of yourself and say, I want a new Madonna every couple of years?
Well, I don't think it's a question of getting tired of myself, but it's like, it's all different aspects of my personality, and I just kind of I focus in on different aspects of my personality, and I kind of get very involved in it, you know. I mean, like, sometimes I'll feel very vulnerable, and that's how I'll appear. Sometimes I'll feel very strong, and that's how I'll appear. I mean, you know, I'm just kind of acting out different parts of my personality.
Does it strike you that sometimes For instance, if you feel your popularity is flagging, that you must be more outrageous, you must do something else.
No, that's my personality. I've always been that way.
Everyone always says, "Oh, she reinvented herself," but the thing is, I just get a new haircut every year. I mean, which everyone should do, I think. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think
it's really good for your head to not get stuck in your way of thinking. Like, this is how I look, this is my image, this is who I am. It kind of wakes you up and makes you dress another way and think another way and carry yourself another way.
She's reinvented herself so many times, it's unbelievable. You can't keep up. She knows where the sound of pop is going. She holds back, and when she's ready to release a single, she knows where it's at, how to look and how to sound, and she does it brilliantly.
When she started, her voice was described as Minnie Mouse, wasn't it? But I think she had a lot of vocal coaching over the years, so she realises her weaknesses. She's always realised her weaknesses, so I wouldn't say she's a bad singer anymore.
I think actually she's more schooled in the entertainment profession as a well-rounded entertainer. Even since the inception of rock and roll, I don't think pop music has ever been about having the best voice.
She came from that background of doing live gigs. It wasn't just a manufactured studio situation. No matter how much her career has been manufactured after that point, she went out with a band and sang.
But I think there's a raw quality and an energy that she had ever since the very first record, that regardless of how well she sang, she did something on a pop record that no one else was doing quite that way.
And that's what made her the icon that she is, which is why we're still talking about her more than 20 years after she first arrived with Holiday and Lucky Star. The fact that by the time she released the Like a Virgin album, you know, it almost looked like she ruled the pop world already.
Like a Virgin was very much the beginning. I mean, a lot of the songs were left over from the first album. The difference between the first album and Like a Virgin is that the first album was a lot of fun, basically. It was a pop record. But the second album was a lot more knowing. She knew what she was about. She was pushing buttons. So it was a lot more of a realised concept.
The album was actually finished several months before, and they actually held it back because of the success of some of the singles from the previous album. You know, I think her lyrics probably started to get much more sophisticated on Like a Virgin. I mean, before that she was kind of a 12-inch single queen and a disco dolly, if you want to call her that. And then I think Like a Virgin, she knew that she had to focus a bit more on sort of coming up with lyrics that fit sort of traditional pop music.
I think back in 1984, when Like a Virgin came out of nowhere, there was this incredibly flamboyant, controversial young superstar who took the headlines away from all the bands like Wham and Spandau Ballet and was getting played loads on the radio. I mean, Like a Virgin must have been one of the most played songs of the year, and I, like millions of others, went mad for her and went mad for the album and the single.
Definitely a turning point in many ways. I mean, a lot of the reviews of Like a Virgin were sort of saying it was a fluffy pop album. It's only in retrospect that people have realised it was a bit more of a turning point in her career.
Her early sound actually came from the underground clubs of New York. That was the beginning of Madonna. She had this fantastic knack of bringing these tremendous club sounds into the mainstream pop arena. She did that from the very beginning, from the days of Holiday, right through to, you know, you get up to albums like Ray of Light, where it was very sort of chilled, trip-hop, trancey kind of feel. All of this stuff was coming from underground clubs, but she was managing to make it so appealing to people right across the board that was another great string to her bow.
Do you consider yourself a feminist?
No.
Okay, next question over here. Rapid fire, people, rapid fire.
Hi, I consider myself a humanist.
The idea of Madonna as a feminist icon is quite interesting because you can look at this in two ways. One is that in her early days there wasn't anything very sisterly about Madonna at all. She would quite happily use and abuse her women friends as she would her male friends. She certainly wasn't blazing a great crusade for feminism in the way that she did treat individuals to begin with.
She's had a history of scrapping half of an album because she's not satisfied with it and firing the producer and moving on to another one. And I'm not saying she would have done that at the early stage of Like a Virgin, but I think that she definitely would have been in that studio and telling Niles what she liked and what she didn't, you know. And I think, in fact, I think that actually it was her, she got her way as far as the first single. At the time, I think he was determined to have Material Girl be the first single, but she knew Like a Virgin was the statement she wanted to make, and she got her way, and it's history because Like a Virgin was #1 and Material Girl was #2.
Prancing around in a wedding dress, you know, and singing about being like a virgin, that would be controversial at any time. I mean, particularly when you come from a Catholic family, and you know, and you're singing these songs or aiming these at teenage girls. Yeah, I mean, it upset the church big time, but she didn't care, and that's a great thing. There were no boundaries in Madonna. She'd say what she wanted, sing about what she wanted, look how she wanted, and who bloody cares? You know, who thought what?
Right, I'm going to illustrate Madonna's song Like a Virgin. And the first thing that's interesting about this, and you'll also see with one of the other songs I demonstrate, a lot of people say about Madonna, you know, that she can't sing. Well, you know, I'm a musician, I work in the studio with lots of people who can sing and can't sing. And the fact is, I think she can sing. I just think people, because she isn't a singer who sounds like Aretha Franklin, say she can't sing. But she can sing from the point of view of she sings in different keys. Now that's the sign of a singer. Because if someone can't sing, every song they play is in the same key. And you know, on these 3 tracks from the same album, we're going through 3 different keys here. Material Girl is in the key of C. This is actually in the key of F sharp. And the other track we're going to do is in the key of A flat. So you've got 3 different keys there, which indicates to me the girl can sing. Whether you like the sound of her voice or not is another matter, but she can sing. So this was her first American #1, and one of 11 American #1s, I believe. You know, pretty phenomenal career for anybody. Once again, it's very simple, produced by Nile Rogers again. Very straightforward, nothing particularly complex about it. A couple of little things that Nile Rogers puts in that makes it a bit more interesting. The first thing about it, apart from it being in F sharp, is it starts with an F sharp 6. So it's not a straight major chord, it's a 6. So you get the keyboard playing. Which is a little unusual. And then it goes to G sharp minor, or A flat minor, and then back to your F sharp 6. And then it moves. I'm playing verse and chorus together because it's one of the same. This is a song that's constructed in this way. And then it goes from your G sharp minor to an E flat minor, back to a G sharp minor, to an E flat minor, to D flat suspended 4, to a D flat, to a B over an E flat, to a D flat. Now that sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just because of the key that it's in. So that last section, once again, basically goes from your D flat suspended 4th to your D flat, to your B flat over your E flat, to your D flat major. And I'll do that one more time for you. So it goes from your D flat suspended 4th to your D flat, to your B flat over E flat, to your D flat major. And that's all the chords that make up basically the song of Like a Virgin.
America's a very conservative place now, and it was even more conservative then. Family values, particularly like, you know, getting married and weddings, you know, it was this thing that you just didn't mess with.
But you know, that's what good rock and roll is all about. I mean, when they said don't film Elvis below the waist, you know, there was a reason for that. It wasn't because, you know, they thought it was crap. It was because they wanted to keep the audience, and they didn't want to piss off, you know, the mums and you know, who just liked him as a sweet boy. The mums didn't want to think about what was going on below his waist, you know. So the same applies to Madonna, you know. But things are different in her era, of course. She knew what she was doing. I think in many ways she was doing a bit of 2 fingers to the church.
I do think that some of the success of Like a Virgin as a song had a lot to do with the video. I think she was right in there when MTV was coming of age as well and started to become a vehicle for people to get their songs into people's heads.
I first saw the video to Like a Virgin in America. And I wasn't sure if I liked it at that point or not, but I remembered it. And, you know, hey, you know, there's not many artists or bands can say that about their first track that's, you know, trying to launch their career. That I still, to this day, I can still see it. I can still see her on the boat, you know, in the Venice-type canals and all that sort of stuff. Still see it in my mind. So that had a great impact upon me. So from that point of view, I think she definitely broke the mold, because she was saying, I'm an independent woman, I'm strong, and I can be slut-like or stroke sexy or whatever I want to be, and you're just going to have to live with it. And that was unusual. That was very unusual.
Nobody was really doing anything like that just then. I don't think anybody had done that before, and certainly in pop music it was something pretty new, and it was pretty outrageous, the image of the male lion and turning into the human with the lion's head, and that was very strange stuff. Very bold video, and she would get much bolder as time went on, but that was certainly a head turner at the time.
She was playing on male fantasies, basically. Yeah, and one was, you know, virginal. The other was, you know, you can be a material girl, you know, you can buy me with diamonds. And so I think it was all tied up with that, trying to press male buttons, but at the same time having fun with it, taking the piss a little bit.
Yeah, I think Madonna varied her image not only with every album, almost with every single and every video. The Material Girl thing was Marilyn Monroe, Like a Virgin, she's in a wedding dress. Each time she did this, the world was kind of going, wow.
The Material Girl video is probably one of the first times when you saw sort of a striking contrast between her street style and also the ability to glam up at a drop of a hat. And I think that set the tone for all of her future changes of image, you know, from one video to the next, within the same album, 5 different images.
If you were going to sort of do a timeline of Madonna's image, then you probably start with the wedding dress and her Brits photo on the sleeve. That was costume change number 1. And the fact that she went through like 3 or 4 costume changes during that album and the subsequent single releases and the live show, I think it made people aware that, you know, she wasn't just a pop star who was going to turn up and sing, you know, there was a lot more to her.
I think the Like a Virgin album was very much the point at which Madonna realised she could do a lot more with her image, her use of costume, her use of characters, her use of drama and theatre, and all the things that she suddenly saw she could do. Eventually she would have the budget to be able to do all of these and to do them in fine and sometimes very controversial fashion.
She said that the one thing she regrets in her early career is Material Girl. And it wasn't written by her, that's an important thing to say. It was written by a couple of disco pop writers at the time. And I think she didn't like that statement of materialism, although it was very much in keeping with the times.
I suppose, you know, you do associate the 80s with the economic boom in the States and in the UK as well. But I still think that although Material Girl, yeah, is about a material girl living in a material world, it still would have broken as a big hit, even if it had been a recession, because I just think it had that uniqueness about it and that freshness about it. It was good, feel good, you know, a quality pop song. It might not have felt quite so good for people who were suffering in a recession, start hearing about a Material Girl, but, you know, then she's an outspoken, you know, colourful character. So I still think it would have done well, but it just sat well in the scheme of things in the 80s, being so all about being big and greed and lots, and you know. And although I've never thought Madonna was actually all about being materialistic, I wonder if that was a slight kind of tongue-in-cheek bit of satire that she was having a go at in her song. I don't know, possibly.
Material Girl was meant to be ironic. She said that several times, and I think that she was quite annoyed herself that the media made it out to be sort of promoting the sort of yuppie lifestyle, all the money that was being made in the stock market and everything else in the 80s. And I think it bugged her a bit that she felt people didn't get it.
Yeah, he's still after me. He just gave me a necklace. I don't know, I think it's real diamonds. Yeah, he thinks he can impress me by giving me expensive gifts. It's nice, though. You want it?
And it only takes someone to watch the video to realize what she was trying to say was actually, that her character in the video is not bothered about wealth and fame and everything else. She just wants a man that's going to impress her, with a bit of romance. And by the end of the video, she goes off with the guy when he shows up in a farmer's truck and hands her some weedy-looking flowers. So I think really, I think your point was made in the video right from the very start.
The Material Girl video was a perfect follow-up to Like a Virgin because she appropriated the image of Marilyn Monroe in its entirety.
The record company wouldn't listen to her idea that she wanted to do this pastiche of Marilyn Monroe. They kept on giving her loads and loads of different ideas, but she insisted that they do this, and this was the first instance of Madonna kind of putting her foot down and saying, let's do it my way. And from that point on, she had a hand in pretty much everything to do with her career.
A little bit of the chorus and a little bit of the verse first of all, and a little riff that starts at the beginning of it. Now the interesting thing about this song is it's really a very simple song, structure-wise, musically, and it was produced by Nile Rogers, and there's a very interesting little thing at the very beginning of it. The riff that you hear, which goes from the synthesizer, is actually really like a Tamla Motown thing. If you think of it, take it away from Material Girl, it becomes like a Tamla Motown track. Makes sense. You listen to, Nile Rogers is producing it, the chic stuff. It's got a groove instantly. So there's his little flag coming up. So before the track starts, you've got a groove that's a little bit familiar. Because the chord structure of it is not like a Tamla Motown song at all. The chord structure is a very simple, straightforward little song. But with Madonna's voice on top of it and what she's singing about, it immediately has the stamp of the Madonna. So basically I'll go through the verse first. So you have the riff to start with. And then the verse consists of a bunch of chords, which the first chord is C major to B flat major to A minor, and then C major to D minor to G major to C major. So I'll now play that sequence. So it goes. So that's the verse sequence. Then the next sequence, which is the chorus, goes F major to G major to A minor, F major to G major to A minor, F major to G major to A minor, F major to G major to C. And that's basically the whole song. So I'll play the chorus sequence. The slight difference is they hold on the G chord for another couple of beats just to work with her melody. So the chorus goes. To the verse again. So it's really simple, but the way that Nile Rogers put the whole track together, in a sense, sort of disguises the simplicity. He's a really good arranger, in the sense that take a simple bunch of chords and he'll do interesting little things with them. So not a lot is going on, but what is going on is right and feels good. So with her on top, and especially at the end, she's doing all that high, you know, all that sort of daft stuff that she does, it works, and it's completely individual, and it was a template for a lot of the stuff from that period, of all her songs. You'll see they're very similar in their structures. Very simple, but cleverly arranged. So that's Material Girl.
Oh, I love that song. Material Girl is great. Yeah, she's kind of got this face that you can just manipulate into all sorts of different looks. She's just got the right features. You know, the Marilyn look in the, in that tune, and the way she could wear her hair, the way she wears, her eye makeup, and she just changes from one song to the next. You know, you talk about people who reinvent themselves. You know, she is the queen of reinvention in her look, her image, in every single song. Yeah, always different.
The key to Madonna's whole career is her ability to pick the right collaborators, particularly musically, but also visually, and in terms of the video directors she worked with, the photographers she worked with, and the people she surrounded herself with. Because she was not a great singer, she was not a great musician, she was not even a great songwriter, but somehow she picked the right people who could bring her best qualities out in her. I think Nile Rogers, who was the creative leader of Chic, these guys invented funky dance music. What he brought to that record was a kind of air of funkiness and an air of musical sophistication that Madonna wouldn't have had without him. Like a Virgin, what a funky track. And, obviously Madonna is the face and the image in fronting that whole thing, but Nile Rogers was very much the brains behind that record, musically. I think the guy's a genius.
I think that Like a Virgin album, she will probably claim it was more her idea. I think Nile Rogers probably had a fair amount of input on that. This was early on in her career, and even though she was certainly probably years ahead of her numerical age, she was definitely a mature, ambitious young lady. But Nile Rogers had been working with some serious super, like the Cheiks and Sister Sledges of that sort of late 70s, early 80s sort of funky, soulful era. So he had a massive input on the sound of those songs. Isn't the bass lines and the way that the songs are produced, how well produced they are, and the vocals, and it all comes together to make a great pop song, and Nile Rogers has to be responsible for most of that, I would have thought.
It seems to me that it was a fairly even collaboration between producer and artist on Like a Virgin. I think Like a Virgin was pretty much a straight release of her version of the demo song that she heard, but Material Girl, I think she gave her own signature style to that.
The sound of it is very much comes from him. It's very crisp and clean, clinical. But I would imagine it's exactly how she wants to sound I don't think it was really until Like a Prayer that musically she started making things happen.
Do you miss your mother still? Your mother who died when you were so young?
Yeah.
Do you think you'd be a different person if your mother was still alive? Or would your stage act be the same, do you think?
I probably wouldn't be in the entertainment business if I had had a mother.
Really? What do you think you'd do?
I have no idea. I'm just sure things would, I mean, it was a very big thing in my life. It changed me. It made me, it turned me into the warrior that I am. I mean, because it hurt me so deeply that I said, okay, I will never need anyone again. I'm gonna, since I don't have my mother to love me, I'm going to, and my father is spreading his attention with 8 brothers and sisters, I'm gonna go out into the world and make the world love me. I mean, this is what I say to myself as a child. This was my catalyst for doing the things I did. If I'd had a mother, I'm sure I would be doing something completely different. So
Madonna's a classic troubled pop star. You know, she lost her mother when she was very young. She had a very controlling, strict father. She is very much a product of her upbringing. She would not have had that kind of fierce ambition and drive. You know, everything she did reflected that.
She was obviously very early on very obsessed with like parental disapproval, in particular, you know, her father's disapproval. The first 2 albums basically had a lot of this father stuff in them, and it was actually incorporated into her live show on the Virgin tour.
She was resplendent in a white wedding dress, which was then stripped off when she went into Material Girl. It was a stunning finale at the gigs. And she then had a character playing her dad to come and drag her off stage at the end of the show in mock horror at the strip that she'd performed.
Madonna, come down off that stage this instant.
Daddy, is that you?
You're coming home with me right now, young lady.
But Daddy, I'm having a good time.
You heard what I said.
When she played in Detroit, her father was in the audience and she made him come up on stage and say that part. And that was very much a kind of reconciling with her father.
I think the way my father's learned to deal with my career and the craziness that surrounds my life and the controversy and stuff is just to sort of, I mean, he has a very large family, and my father's had a really tough life himself. And I think that he sort of lets things roll off of him instead of reacting overtly either way. Instead of being really ecstatic and happy, I think to keep himself from being really upset, he just sort of goes like this, and that's been his method of survival through the years, you know. And he doesn't treat me differently than any of my other brothers and sisters. And sometimes I think, oh God, you know, why doesn't he get excited about the things that I've accomplished? But on the other hand, I'm relieved, because then I can come home and not feel like a freak or something, you know. I'm treated like everybody else.
You try to criticize my drive. If I lose, I don't feel right. It's not the game, it's how you say. And if I fall, I get up again. I get up again, over and over. I get up again, over and over. I get up again, over and over. I get up again, over and over.
Lyrically, some of her earlier songs definitely reveal a bit of her character. I do think Over and Over saying, you know, I'll get up again, I'll get up again, and she's saying, hurry up, hurry up. Hurry up has become like almost a mantra for her career. It's like she's always got to do the next thing.
I don't want to come across as cynical now, but I think that the Like a Virgin tour, which was all about colour, flamboyance, you know, showing out, might well have been an interesting vehicle to, or a good way to cover up and distract the audience from what is really a mediocre kind of pop voice.
On the Virgin tour, there was a lot of vocal tracks in the background to make up for her thin voice. There's also a lot of choreography, but it wasn't the huge kind of show that we imagine Madonna today to do.
I don't think they were great gigs in those days. You know, I can remember her at the original Live Aid, and it was dreadful. I mean, dreadful.
Obviously, her voice has gotten a lot better since the Like a Virgin tour. You can see that absolute energy of the showmanship that she's got, and she's always given that ever since that first tour.
I think apart from what we talked about before, the fact that she was definitely out to stir things up with her father, I think. She wanted to stir things up in the media, because ultimately in the pop world, if people aren't talking about you, you're finished. So I think Madonna, yeah, of course she was out to shock every single time. The difference is there was some substance behind what she was doing.
Is it all done with a sense of humour?
I think, yeah, I do. I think it's a lot of what I do is well, not a sense of irony, you know. I think it's good to see someone, a performer or whatever, and say, now, does she mean that or doesn't she? Because it makes you ask questions, and it makes you see that there's two sides to every story, and everything isn't cut and dry, everything's black, everything isn't black and white, you know. So, and I think that I try to make that clear in my work by being tongue-in-cheek.
Do you worry that people might not get the irony, but they might not pick up on the humour?
Not really. I mean, everyone's not going to... You have to be intelligent to get the humor. You have to be sophisticated, and I know everybody isn't, so some people will get it and some people won't. I never want to be taken completely seriously. I think that that's the death of anyone.
Of course. But that is the problem, isn't it? That people think you mean it most of the time, don't they? Do you mean everything you say?
I mean everything I say, but in terms of like my performance and stuff, I mean, certainly in my last show, much of what I did was tongue-in-cheek, and I mean, I'm being very sincere with you right now, but when I present a performance, for instance, and many times in my songs, there's a sense of irony that most intelligent people see it, and the people that don't, well, they don't. I mean, everyone can't love everything that you do.
Of course.
Or understand.
That's right. So the people are enjoying your performance, but sometimes on two different levels.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think a lot of, you know, regular Joe Schmoes, I think they realised that here was someone who wasn't just a pop star, he was a performer who was willing to go that extra yard. You know, she was a singer, she was a dancer, he had the whole image, everything with her. So I think a lot of people gravitated towards her because of that, because she was a performer. So, and I think even though it was controversial, I think it wasn't that controversial that it turned people off. I mean, that came a lot later.
I think actually Madonna has opened the door for a lot of artists with by addressing issues since her earliest phases. I think that it's allowed a lot of artists to break open the doors about sexuality and other taboos. You know, I think that she influenced loads of other artists, and I think a lot of artists are thankful to her for sort of addressing the issues before they had to and making it easier for them.
You know, look at Britney in the school uniform. But, I mean, that's Madonna-inspired. That is totally Madonna-inspired. So she's had a big, you know, big influence on other artists with what she's done with her image and video action and sex.
Do you find is it strange talking about, because here we are, I'm talking about essentially photographs of you in sexual situations, you in the nude.
Yeah.
Does that, I mean, because it feels mildly strange to me. It's quite a pleasant strangeness, but it feels mildly...
Why is it strange?
Well, because I'm talking to someone I don't know about their physicality,
Yeah,
their
but I'm
sexuality.
playing characters. It's theatrical to me. I mean, it's like a movie. Even though if I could do a love scene in a movie and feel nothing for the person I'm actually doing the scene with. That's what acting is. And I played this role, and the movie has an effect on people, but it's not really a life I've actually lived.
You're a heroine, of course, to many millions of young people, young girls and young boys. Do you think you're a good example to them?
Yes, I do. I think I stand for being honest, for saying what you believe in, for going after your dreams. There's I deal with a lot of subjects in the movie that I think are really important. Homophobia and sexism and all of those things. I mean, I'm against those things, and I'm very vocal about it in the movie, about being against them, and also in my show. And I think that those are important things, and I think that let's see, what else? Why else am I good for people?
It doesn't matter who you are, it's what you do that takes you far. And if at first you don't succeed, here's some advice that should. You gotta forget over and over, you gotta forget over and over, you gotta forget over and over, you gotta forget over and over. I'm not afraid to say
I was at a magazine called Record Mirror, and one of the interesting things that Record Mirror did was they compared Madonna with Cyndi Lauper and sort of said who's going to be the lasting star. And like everyone at the time, pretty much we said Cyndi Lauper, which is terrible now in retrospect, you know. But at the time, I think a lot of people were putting their bets on Cyndi Lauper. She was a lot more acceptable, and she was this quirky kind of nutty character. Madonna, you know, I think people just thought she was a phase, like a Cabbage Patch doll, you know, and everyone's going crazy for this thing, and it was just all going to disappear. I think that's what they wanted, but it was very much the video to Like a Virgin and the Virgin tour that changed all that around, when people saw the mania that she caused and the millions of kids dressing exactly like her and copying her, the Madonna wannabes, that people realised that this was more than a passing thing, this was a phenomenon.
She broke down barriers, and she battered her way in there really off the back of her motivation, her drive and her single-mindedness, and being brash and rude and persuasive and everything that was uncommon with a young woman as she was, like back in the early 80s. And so she has helped, you know, other artists get in there and be successful. But no one will ever be quite as ballsy, and no one will ever, there'll never be another Madonna.
I mean, no one could have predicted Madonna would last this long. Even around the Like a Virgin time, I don't think anyone would have predicted she'd still be around 20 years later, and we'd still be talking about her, and she'd still be news.
When you've got that number of years, that many air miles behind you, you know, you're never going to go away. People will never forget you, and they will always be curious about you, and they'll always want to go and buy your record and go and see you in concert.
Madonna now really has nothing to prove. She can do what she likes. She doesn't have to make another record. She's an icon. She will always be an icon. She'll always be the Marilyn Monroe that she wanted to be, you know.
Every record or everything she does is a progression, whereas so many artists of that age, it's kind of always a harking back to the past.
Now, a lot of people would say, why bother? You've proved yourself, you've done it before.
I don't know why people always say, you know, you already did, you know, you have everything, you have fame, you have fortune, you know, why don't you just go and grow a tomato garden or something? Because it's not about proving that I can do one thing. It's about, without sounding corny, being an artist, and the artistic life is creation, and when you have ideas, you want to express them. So if you have one idea and it came off well, that doesn't mean that, you know, that's it. You know, life goes on. And as long as I'm inspired, I'm going to keep doing things.
It's hard to imagine somebody reaching those heights again, or be as infused in the culture as Madonna is. She's had such an influence, and it's hard to imagine a pop artist that could sort of be original enough not to be seen as sort of taking a bit of her influence and then taking it somewhere else.
You know, Britney Spears and Kylie knew about Madonna before they started their careers. Who were Madonna's reference points?
But I think she will be mainly remembered as an incredible pop star, someone who was much more than just a pop performer, someone who brought loads and loads of things to play, you know, someone who had great videos, someone who looked great, someone who at every turn was reinventing herself, someone who always was stirring up some kind of controversy. Always.
You know, what else is the entertainment business about? It's, you know, what sense is, it's not about smell, is it? Your eyes and your ears, that's what it's about. And she got both of them perfect and sustained that over a period of 20 years. You know, you can get something perfect for one single. Great. You know, one album, great. I mean, that really is cool. But, you know, she sustained this over 20 years. I think that's fucking amazing.